Hi, my name is Gavish and I am a third year student at Hindu College, University of Delhi. And surprisingly, I am not a part of any of the societies in my third year. Now, with the first years now in college and also with their enthusiasm and everything involved, I was as enthusiastic as well. But what came to be या फिर ऐसा क्या मुझे समझ आया या दिखा or probably the insider part of it all which made me consider this entire society culture as a scam in DU. So this is what I will be talking about today, and I think it is particularly important to talk about this because not a lot of people talk about it, at least not publicly, and also not just these first years which have just entered, but I think this video can be helpful for the subsequent batches as well. This will be helpful for the students who have even the slightest of doubt about whether to go for societies or not, and probably a better perspective, a more holistic one, in my opinion. So I think we'll start this by pointing out that how you need to understand that the societies are there for themselves, not for you, which is completely contrary to the popular notion which is projected that the societies give you exposure, they are there for you, they're there for your growth, they're there for enhancing your college experience. Please burst your bubble. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Societies वहाँ अपने लिए हैं, अपनी marketing के लिए, अपना नाम ऊपर ले जाने के लिए हैं. You are just merely a cog in the machine, no matter how harsh that might sound, but that is the reality. So as soon as you get to accept that, the better. Also, I think जो कि हर सेकेंड और थर्ड ईयर स्टूडेंट को भी तक पता चल ही चुका होगा कॉलेज में दैट दी सोसाइटीज आर ऑल्सो दे टेंड टू गेट टॉक्सिक एट टाइम्स, और आई थिंक दिस इज ट्रू फॉर एवरी सोसाइटी. आई थिंक वो एक कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर या क्या मतलब डेवलप हो ही जाता है कि जहाँ पे बहुत टॉक्सिक एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट हो जाता है. एंड आई थिंक दिस इज ट्रू फॉर everywhere in the real world as well, जहाँ पे मतलब different kind of people meet with different opinions and they are supposed to work in a particular environment. वहाँ पे toxicity होती ही है, but we cannot just shrug away this fact because ये होता ही है तो it's मतलब valid. I think we cannot legitimize it just because ये होता है. I think we need to point it out and call it out and try and help people who are affected by it. So these societies tend to get toxic. They house various toxic people which you will meet when you get enrolled in them. And usually this toxicity also perpetuates because the core members of the society, which are like in charge of taking the society forward and leading the society, they also pick and choose only those people who are in good terms with them, mostly. So वहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं merit takes a back seat and then this toxicity wali cycle gets perpetuated. The next point which I would want to talk about is that skills are always given preference over your interest. So no matter how eager you might be to join a society, but someone will always be preferred over you who is more skilled, who is more well spoken, who outperforms you in the interviews. Why do you think interview rounds are conducted? To get to know you better as a person, but to also judge ki कौन एक बेटर पॉलिश्ड इंडिविजुअल है एंड हु विल ब्रिंग मोर लॉरल्स टू द सोसाइटी. तो वहाँ पे एक ऐसे बंदे को प्रेफर किया जाएगा जो कि बातें घुमाने में, कम्युनिकेट करने में और यहाँ तक कि झूठ भी बोलने में. सब लोग सच नहीं बोलते इंटरव्यू में ऑब्वियसली. पीपल हु हैव अ वे विद वर्ड्स टेंड टू गेट द एडवांटेज ओवर द अदर्स हु डू नॉट हैव द सेम. तो वहाँ पे ये जो ऑलरेडी स्किल्ड है, जो ऑलरेडी एक एक्सट्रोवर्टेड पर्सनैलिटी या फिर मोर कॉन्फिडेंट इन देमसेल्व्स जो लोग हैं, वो लोग हमेशा बाजी मार लेंगे ओवर दोज हु आर नॉट एज वेल स्पोकन, हु हैव नॉट हैड एज मच एक्सपोजर एट स्कूल. तो उनको हमेशा एक डिसएडवांटेज रहेगा एंड द सोसाइटीज आर इग्नोरेंट ऑफ दिस फैक्ट. तो हाँ, कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि सोसाइटीज मोर डाइवर्स अपने आप को दिखाने के लिए वो ऐसे लोगों को भी देते हैं हु हैव प्रॉब्ली नॉट हैड दैट मच एक्सपोजर, या फिर आप कुछ बहुत ही अलग कर दो अपने इंटरव्यू में, कुछ बहुत ही अच्छी ऐसी बात बोल दो जो मे बी प्रॉब्ली स्टैंड्स आउट टू देम. दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली ऑल यू. दैट shows ki okay, you probably showed them something worth in you. So great, but talking about the majority of it all, the people with skills will always emerge over those with no expertise or no exposure. Moving on to the next point, I think there is a difference between organizing and participating. So बच्चों को कई बार बहुत कन्फ्यूजन होता है, अभी भी ओरिएंटेशंस वगैरह हो रही है, मैं देख रहा हूँ कि जैसे एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल अ क्विजिंग सोसाइटी इज़ देयर इन द कॉलेज, और बच्चों को क्विजिंग में इंटरेस्ट है, लेकिन वो क्विजिंग सोसाइटी ज्वाइन करने के पीछे भाग रहे हैं, मतलब विदाउट कंसिडरिंग द फैक्ट कि अगर उनको पार्टिसिपेट करना है तो वो वैसे भी पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं विदाउट बीइंग अ मेंबर ऑफ दैट सोसाइटी, राइट? सो you need to figure out that if you are interested in the act that the society undertakes, and if you can become a part of it without being a part of the society. So आई थिंक बहुत सारी सोसाइटीज़ अपने जो पार्टिसिपेशंस और कॉम्पिटिशन्स के जो एनरोलमेंट फॉर्म्स होती है वो पूरे कॉलेज के लिए निकालती हैं, तो यू कैन बिकम अ पार्ट इन ऑल दोज एक्टिविटीज़ विदाउट बीइंग अ पार्ट ऑफ द सोसाइटी एक्चुअली, जहाँ की अगर आप सोसाइटी में होते हो तो आप ऑर्गेनाइज करते हो उन इवेंट्स को। तो आई एम नॉट श्योर कि ऑर्गेनाइज करने का एक्सपीरियंस कितने लोग चाह रहे हैं, अगर वो चाह रहे हैं तो वेल एंड गुड फॉर देम। तो यू शुड जस्ट नो कि वॉट डू यू एक्चुअली सीक फ्रॉम द सोसाइटी एंड देन प्रॉब्ली अप्लाई एंड गो अबाउट इट। The next point which I would want to highlight is that choose a society which does something that you cannot do on your own. You can explain this with an example that मेरे लिए NSS was a society that I was a part of. So NSS looks good on the CV. NSS does something like donating in the slums, teaching underprivileged children. So these are the activities which I cannot undertake on my own. But जहाँ पे फिर से शायद आई थिंक क्विजिंग सोसाइटी का एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं, नथिंग अगेंस्ट क्विजिंग सोसाइटीज़, बट किसी को अगर इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रोग्रेस हासिल करना है तो कैन दे नॉट प्रॉब्ली डू इट ऑन देयर ओन बाय रीडिंग मोर एंड बीइंग एक्सपोज टू मोर आइडियाज़ ऑनलाइन और इन ग्रुप डिस्कशंस, because even the group discussions are open for everyone which these societies organize. So again, linking it back to my previous point, you do not need to always be a part of the society to witness their events. So if it is intellectual prowess probably what you're seeking, then you can probably undertake it on your own level by reading more books and absorbing more ideas rather than always choosing to become a part of the society. Next point is the hollow hype which goes around these societies. So I think DU has had this hype about the society culture कि बहुत हवा बना के रखा है, बट एक्चुअली आई थिंक दिस इज ट्रू फॉर एवरीथिंग इन DU कि जिस चीज़ की बहुत ज़्यादा हाइप होती है दैट इज़ नॉट वर्थ इट एट ऑल, द हाइप इज़ एब्सोल्युटली हॉलो. And I think the NEP children, the new batch which is like coming with CVT, they understand this fact. They are more academic oriented, and the societies in the college are not settled on this fact. They somehow dislike it. Ki these children are preferring to go to classes. These children are not so eager to join the societies. But my point is that please do not let anyone dictate your priorities to yourself. आई थिंक दिस इज़ समथिंग आई हैव स्टॉन्चली अपोज्ड ड्यूरिंग माई टेन्योर इन अ सोसाइटी, कि जहाँ पे आपको मतलब सीनियर्स के द्वारा बोला जाता है कि अरे क्लास में क्या ही पढ़ाते हैं आपको, क्लास छोड़ो सोसाइटी में आओ, तो यू शुड स्टैंड अप एंड टेल देम कि यू डू नॉट गेट टू डिसाइड माई प्रायोरिटीज़. मे बी यू डू नॉट डू इट एज रेडिकली बट प्रॉब्ली सर्टली, या फिर आप उन्हें बोलो भी मत, आप यू जस्ट गो टू योर क्लास एंड मेक सम एक्सक्यूज. दैट इज़ अप टू यू, दैट इज़ योर स्मार्ट मूव. बट डो नॉट लेट एनी वन डिसाइड योर प्रायोरिटीज़. अगर आप कॉलेज में आए हो, आप अपने लिए आए हो, आप किसी सोसाइटी के लिए नहीं आए थे. पहले डिपार्टमेंट में डिग्री के लिए एडमिशन लिया था, आपने सोसाइटी में एडमिशन नहीं लिया था. तो अगर अकेडमिकली यू आर ओरिएंटेड देन वेल एंड गुड, दैट वर्क्स फॉर यू. डोंट लेट एनी वन एल्स टेल यू वॉट टू डू कि आपके लिए सोसाइटी ऊपर होनी चाहिए क्लासेस से. क्लासेस तो फालतू होती हैं. प्लीज़ डू नॉट बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ द हर्ड मेंटालिटी एंड डिस्कवर योर सेल्फ. वॉट डू यू सीक इन कॉलेज? Also, all the hype around these fests and all, I think this is something I've personally come face to face with कि कुछ होता इतना खास नहीं ही है. अब this could be personally my opinion, but I'm here to share my experience as well कि जो भी ये फेस्ट्स वगैरह होते हैं, they are organized basically just for the sake of it, and I think no actual learning takes place for the most part in most of the society fests. तो वो भी बस करने के लिए एक स्पीकर ला दिया, कुछ ला दिया, हो गया. आई थिंक उसका कुछ आउटपुट उतने प्रोडक्टिव सेंस में मुझे देखने को नहीं मिला है अभी तक, या फिर देयर हैव बीन वेरी फ्यू इवेंट्स विच हैव एक्चुअली लाइक स्टूड अप टू देयर हाइप और लाइक एक्चुअली सेट अ मार्क. I've also had to contemplate the thought of acquiring positions in these societies. So the fact is that members do not really have a real value in the society. This is also a harsh reality. Ki if you are a member in a society basically in your first year, and if you choose not to apply to any core positions, then your value is slightly, or I think considerably reduced. बिकॉज ओनली द कोर पोजिशंस होल्ड अ वैल्यू. बिकॉज अगर आप सीवी में भी कहीं लिखने जाओगे तो आप क्या लिखोगे कि आई वॉज अ मेंबर इन दिस सोसाइटी, सो दैट डजेंट क्रिएट दैट मच इम्पैक्ट, राइट. अगर आप कोई कोर पोजिशन होल्ड कर रहे हो तो आई थिंक दैट होल्ड्स मोर वैल्यू. सो विदाउट होल्डिंग अ कोर पोजिशन प्रॉब्ली योर स्टे इन अ सोसाइटी नीड्स टू बी रिकन्सिडर्ड. एंड उसके साथ ही आई थिंक सोसाइटीज़ के हिसाब से अगर सीवी में लिखने जाए तो जैसे मैंने एक प्रीवियस पॉइंट में बोला कि एनएसएस लुक्स गुड ऑन द सीवी, वेर एज a dramatic society, being a member of a dramatic society might not impact your CV as much. So these things also need to be considered. I've had interactions with presidents of the societies who have gone through a mental breakdown. Their mental health has been severely affected by all the things which goes on in these societies. This is also true for the departments. People have had mental breakdowns. They have had to quit studies altogether just because they need to manage a society, so to speak. तो इट डज टेक अ टोल ऑन यू बिकॉज यू आर अ प्रेजिडेंट ऑफ एन अनइंटरेस्टेड सोसाइटी जिसमें सिर्फ कोर पोजीशन और प्रेजिडेंट ही खींच तान के धक्का मार मार के उसको चला रहा है और होप कर रहा है शायद कि बाकी लोग भी धक्का मार मुर के चला लें. तो दिस इज लाइक द रियलिटी ऑफ दीज स्पेसेस. आई मीन मोस्ट ऑफ दीज स्पेसेस आई थिंक. बट पीपल also lose interest, and then if you become the president then you have like a responsibility to take the society forward, and then people are not interested, then all the work falls upon your shoulders, and then your academics and your other engagements go down the drain. It's just the society that is all your college experience is getting reduced to. So I think all these realities need to be brought in the limelight, and that is what I'm here to do. Other than that, the presidents of the societies also somewhere or the other get treated like pawns by the administration or the college at times, because college का कोई initiative होता है, the presidents are expected to mobilize the students of their societies and show up, appear. So do you, I mean, if you are smart you would know what I'm talking about. Understands that if you have been made a president of a prestigious society of our college, you somehow owe an obligation to us. I think we'll keep it at this. Other than that, I think you really need to be selfish. कॉलेज में आप अपने लिए आए हो, एंड इफ़ यू आर नॉट अर्निंग और प्रॉब्ली गेनिंग, आई थिंक गेनिंग इज द राइट वर्ड, इफ़ यू आर नॉट गेनिंग एनीथिंग आउट ऑफ सोसाइटी, इट्स बेस्ट टू रिकन्सिडर योर चॉइस ऑफ स्टेइंग. बिकॉज छोड़ने पे सोसाइटी कोई पाबंदी नहीं है. प्लीज़ डोंट लेट एनी वन मैनिपुलेट यू इन टू स्टेइंग when you want to leave. तो अगर किसी भी तरह का वैल्यू एडिशन नहीं हो रहा है, आई थिंक दिस वॉज पर्टिकुलरली ट्रू इन माई केस व्हेन आई हैड टू क्विट, बिकॉज मुझे लगा नहीं कि कोई वैल्यू एडिशन हो रहा है. इवन व्हेन आई वॉज अटेंडिंग मीटिंग्स, माई क्लासेस वर गेटिंग स्किप्ड, आई वॉज इन गिल्ट. तो मुझे कोई वैल्यू एडिशन नहीं दिखा, ना मेरे स्किल्स में कोई बढ़ोतरी हो रही है, ना मुझे किसी तरह का नया एक्सपोजर मिल रहा है. आई थिंक इट वॉज लाइक मी हु वॉज benefiting the society rather than it being the other way around. So I've had to make these choices. And अगर I think value addition आपके लिए किसी भी रूप में हो सकता है. It can be your friends, you found a family in the society. If that's the case, well and good, whatever works out for you. But if there is no value addition whatsoever, I think you really need to reconsider your choices. Then what is the solution to all of this? इतना अगर खराब सीन है, हाइप बिल्कुल खोटी है, जो भी है, मतलब सोल्यूशन क्या है. तो आई थिंक आई हैव अ कपल ऑफ पॉइंट्स टू टॉक अबाउट इन दैट सेंस. तो आई थिंक कि इफ़ यू आर इन योर फर्स्ट ईयर तो यू शुड कीप योर एक्सप्लोरेशन मास्क ऑन, बिकॉज दैट इज़ वॉट यू आर मेंट टू डू इन द फर्स्ट ईयर. यू आर मेंट टू एक्सप्लोर. तो अप्लाई टू एज मेनी सोसाइटीज एज यू कैन, गेट इन टू एज मेनी सोसाइटीज एज यू कैन, and then after you move on to the second year or the second semester, you can start prioritizing things. You can see which societies are actually benefiting me, which ones are not, and then you can start ticking them off your checklist and leaving them, in other words, because छोड़ने पे कोई पाबंदी नहीं है. Just keep that in mind. तो I think ये तो एक point हो गया कि exploration phase in the first year and then prioritization from then onwards. Other than that, I think even if you like have been in a society, from what I have witnessed, I really don't know matlab, if it really has any real implication on your CV, or even if you can go on to a university telling them ki I have been a president of this society. Because I think at the end of the day it is only about how well you are presenting your case. So even for a person who has been president of 5 societies but is not able to project it well or translate it into his SOP, the university might not pick him. But if a student has not been a president but has had various experiences, has been an academic, has had other experience and pursued everything that he was passionate about, and then the student translates it all into their SOP, then I think that will have a more impact than the application of a president. So to societies, then what? So this takes me to my next point. Ki I think in college you can also spread your wings or ज़्यादा and go on to seek work experience, apply to internships. You can apply to like recognized organizations and even with the government and seek opportunities which you are eligible for and gain some work experience, because that really counts in the real world rather than any society or probably whatever these societies do. And you can like choose for yourself. Don't take me for my word. Even just be open to opportunities other than just the societies, and then pick and choose whatever suits your case the best. So you can choose to do internships, you can choose to learn how to do research, how to carry out research methodologies, publish research papers, write, and then participate in competitions, because most of the competitions across colleges, there's like a season dedicated to all the competition wherein all the departments of all the DU colleges like enroll participation forms. You can go on and participate in research paper presentation competitions, other competitions, debates, speeches, and these are open to all. Another point towards the solution of it all would be to break the hype. And this hype can only be dissolved when people come to the forefront and speak the truth. So even if you have been a part of some of the societies and you have seen the working of it all from the inside, you can choose to speak the truth to your juniors, to your peers, and dissolve the hype with truth. Because even if you are a part of something, rather than shading it and painting a flowery and glittery picture, I think it is high time that we talk about what really goes on in these spaces and the things and people which we need to be aware of. Other than that, I have this particular point that despite the groupism, despite the politics and having to deal with terrible, terrible people, you should not lose your individual voice in a society or in a space, because that is what is you, right? And if your individual voice is getting lost, if you are getting exploited, I think you should again reconsider your choices of having to stay. I have this particular personal experience wherein I was down with chickenpox, and I had also had a formal leave application from the teacher in charge of the society, but the president had the audacity to ask one of the other core members if ये सच में बीमार है क्या, तू तो इसका दोस्त है ना, ये सच में बीमार है क्या. Now can you believe it? Not even having the basic human decency to consider why someone is not working for you like a free labor when they are sick. And the question that arises is, would you really want to work for such people or contribute for them? I think I would choose not to. I would have missed any point. If you resonate with me, or if you would wish to seek more clarity upon any point or anything else about college in general, you can reach out to me. I think I will link down my Instagram below in the description. And this is what I have to speak for now on. That will be all. And if you would want to hear more about societies, or if you would probably want me to come up with a part 2, you can reach out to me and tell me what you would like to hear the next time I make a video.